Hi, this is Cheryl Sutcliffe, the BCMA coordinator at Phoenix VA Healthcare System. This video is a documentation of heparin drip protocols using PTT monitoring. This protocol is used for high and low dose vascular protocol. It is also used for acute coronary syndrome, venous thromboembolism, and atrial fibrillation heparin drip protocols when the patient has been taking direct oral anticoagulants, such as apixaban, rivaroxaban, and edoxaban, at least 96 hours prior to admission. Here is the heparin drip order with an indication for acute coronary syndrome using PTT monitoring. Let's start by scanning the patient's wristband. Ensure correct patient identification by using two patient identifiers. To initiate the heparin drip, scan the heparin bag, click OK, choose your IV site, click OK. A box pops up for the second nurse verifier. The second nurse verifier enters his or her access code and verify code after independently reviewing the heparin drip order and then click OK. You will see the infusing bag is hanging, but there is no documentation as to how much bolus is given, if ever there is a bolus ordered, as well as what was the initial infusion rate. To document this, right click on the infusing bag and add a comment. A dialog box pops up. Scan the QR code for the initial infusion using PTT monitoring. Fill in the bolus dose if ordered, the initial infusion, and the next PTT lab draw. If you do not remember the bolus and the infusion rate, you can scroll from this display. So our initial bolus will be 4,000 units, and the initial infusion rate will be 1,000 units per hour. If there is no ordered initial bolus, you can put 0 on this bolus section. However, for this case, we're going to give 4,000 units. Our initial infusion rate will be 1,000 units per hour. And our next PTT lab draw will be today at 0800. Click OK. You will see your complete documentation here. For any dose adjustment or titration, the Joint Commission recommends a need for a second nurse verifier. To document this, let's pretend that the PTT came back at less than 35 seconds. So right-click on the infusing bag and take action on bag. Select Stopped, and in the dialog box, scan the QR code for per BCMA guideline. And click OK. According to this BCMA guideline, you are not really stopping the bag in the Alaris pump. You are stopping it here in BCMA so that the second nurse verifier box will pop up. So go back to the stop bag, right click, choose Take Action on Bag, choose Infusing, and in the dialog box, scan the QR code for PTT below the therapeutic level. Fill in the blank fields such as the PTT result, the bolus dose, if ever there is a bolus dose ordered, the current rate now, and then the PTT lab draw. So we said our PTT result was less than 35. If we scroll down on this display to the titration of less than 35 seconds, we're going to give a bolus of 4,000 units. And we will increase the rate by 340 units. So from 1,000, you add 340, so it will be 1,340 units per hour. And our next PTT will be today at 1,500. If in case your lab result does not require a bolus order, please write 0 on this bolus section. So in this case, it's less than 35. The protocol says we have to give a bolus of 4,000 units. Click OK. Then the box pops up for the second nurse verifier. The second nurse verifier enters his or her access code and verify code. And click OK. If you hover over the infusing bag, you will see your complete documentation there. If the PTT level is therapeutic, there will be no changes to the heparin drip, so you don't necessarily need a second nurse verifier. However, you still need to document the PTT result and the next lab draw. To document for the therapeutic level, let's pretend that the PTT result came back at 58 seconds. So right-click on the infusing bag and select Add a comment. A dialog box pops up. Scan the QR code for the PTT corresponding the therapeutic level. Fill in the blank fields. So we said our PTT result was 58 seconds. There's no bolus, no changes. PTT will be ordered today at 2200. Click OK. So there is your documentation for your therapeutic level. Notice that we didn't have a box pop up for second nurse verifier. That is because we did not make any changes to our dose or rate. Let's pretend that the next PTT result came back at 103 seconds, which is above the therapeutic level. This protocol states we need to hold the drip for 1 hour and increase the rate. Since we will be needing a second nurse verifier because there will be a change in the dose, we need to stop and start the bag in BCMA so the second nurse verifier box will pop up. To document this, right-click on the infusing bag, take action on bag, choose Stopped, and in the dialog box, type per ACS protocol because the protocol states to hold if the PTT is greater than 90 seconds. And click OK. Ensure that you stop the Alaris pump for 1 hour and set your timer for an hour. After an hour, restart the heparin drip by going back to the stop bag, right-click, take action on bag, and choose Infusing. In the dialog box, Scan the QR code for PTT above therapeutic level and fill in the blank fields. So we said our PTT result came back at 103 seconds. We held the drip for 1 hour and we're going to decrease the rate. So let's scroll down to the titration. Our above 90 seconds, we're going to hold the drip for 1 hour, which we did. Then resume by decreasing the rate from the previous by 170 units per hour. So our previous rate was 1,340 units minus 170 units. So it will be 1,170 units per hour. And my next PTT order will be to tomorrow, the following day at 0500. Click OK. The second nurse verifier box pops up. The second nurse verifier enters his or her access code and verify code. And click OK. So your documentation is in there. If the PTT result did not require holding the drip for an hour, delete the verbiage heparin drip held for 1 hour. So you need to delete those orders because the PTT result will not require for the drip to be held. Ensure that you restarted the heparin drip in the Alaris pump. The second nurse verifier should perform an independent review of the heparin drip order, especially if it involves dose adjustment. At every dose changes or titration, ensure that you ordered the PTT lab order per protocol and as indicated. This concludes the presentation for documenting the heparin drip protocol using the PTT monitoring.